Hello, YouTube. This Kid 02 here. Now we're on to part 2 of Disney's Ariel, Ariel and the Mysterious World Above. Here we go.
The surface of the water, with a sleepy Sebastian and Flounder struggling behind her. As the sun rose over the sea, Ariel burst through the waves, thrilled to be in the world above. She raced towards shore, but paused when she heard a strange voice.
"You're Princess Ariel, aren't you?"
Perched on a piece of driftwood was a seagull.
"Flying Fish told me about you. Said you're kind of curious about humans." "You are so lucky you came to the right goal, 'cause I know everything there is to know about humans."
Ariel stared at the seagull.
You mean you've been close enough to humans to hear them speak?
You bet your scales, sweetie. And I can answer all your questions.
At that moment, Flounder and Sebastian finally caught up with the Little Mermaid. The seagull introduced himself as Scuttle, then winked at Ariel and pointed toward shore.
"Since it's your birthday, sweetie, how about a free guided tour?"
Oh, Scuttle, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Ariel followed the seagull. As they approached land, the mermaid pointed to a kite flying above a grove of trees.
Scuttle, look. What's that?
He gasped.
"Why, I'll be flubbergusted. I haven't seen one of them in ages. It's a wobble-eyed weather snoop."
Ariel sighed as the kite dipped below the trees and disappeared.
Oh, a wobble-eyed weather snoop. It was so beautiful.
She swam closer to shore, hoping to glimpse some humans. Even though it was her birthday, Ariel didn't want to be selfish, so she waited in a tide pool near shore for Sebastian and Flounder to join her. In the shallow water, she saw starfish and sea otters and something else made by humans. She held up a metal fishing pail.
Scuttle, over here. Do you know what this is?
As she waited for the seagull to answer, Sebastian and Flounder swam up. The crab gestured frantically, pointing behind her.
"Ariel, look out!"
Frightened, Ariel ducked her head. A huge wave crashed over her, knocking the pail out of her hand. Moments later, she surfaced in the ocean, removing bits of seaweed from her hair. Flounder hurried to Ariel's side.
Wow, that wave was a monster. It came out of nowhere.
Sebastian frowned, shaking his head.
"That's a bad omen. Let's get out of this place before a human comes over here and snatches us up."
It wasn't humans Sebastian should have been worrying about, but Flotsam and Jetsam, who had used Ursula's magic to stir up the water and create the wave. There, behind the rocks, the eels were lurking. The sea witch wanted her eels to hide a sparkling human object in the Little Mermaid's hair to get her into trouble. Far below, Ursula shook with frustration.
My plan was perfect, but that bratted girl ducked just in time. Keep watching her, my pets. You'll get another chance. I'll make sure of that.
Back at the tide pool, Scuttle struggled with a pail which the wave had dropped on his head.
"Hey, where did the sun go?"
Scuttle tripped, somersaulted, and the pail flew off. The seagull hopped after it excitedly.
Ariel, why didn't you tell me I discovered a silver-plated snickerdoodle? It provides wonderful shade for humans as they gallivant about in the throes of day. This one even has a chin holder. It's a real find.
The day wore on and Ariel swam along the shore looking for the places that her sisters had seen on their 15th birthdays. Although she couldn't find any of them, the little mermaid saw hills and shores and sailing ships more beautiful than she had imagined. As the sun set, she swam into a shallow cove. Her three companions followed her. Ariel frowned.
Quiet, everyone. I hear something.
At first, it was very quiet. Then they heard a tremendous roar. The earth began to rumble and the sea to stir. Clouds gathered overhead and enormous waves began building out in the ocean, heading toward the cove. Before Ariel had a chance to dive underwater, a huge wave crashed on top of her. As she thrashed about in the blinding water, Flotsam and Jetsam glided up to her and hid something in her hair. Within seconds, the eels were gone. As the storm miraculously disappeared, Ariel suddenly realized that it was getting late, and soon her birthday would be over. With one last look at the surface, Ariel slipped underwater. This time she lagged behind Flounder and Sebastian as they hurried home. That evening, Ariel told her sisters all about her trip to the surface.
The world above was more wonderful than I could have imagined. And there were so many amazing human things, like something called a wobble-eyed weather snoop.
Wobble-eyed weather snoop? Really? Just how close did you get to the shore? And to humans?
King Triton appeared, glaring at Ariel. She trembled before him.
I didn't see any humans, Daddy. Honest.
Then what's this?
The Sea King reached over and drew a sparkling diamond ring from Ariel's hair. It was the object that Ursula and the eels had placed there to make trouble for the little mermaid with her father. Sebastian hurried to Ariel's defense.
Oh, Your Majesty, I was with her the whole time. Believe me, she was good as a goldfish. That funny little thing must have washed into her hair with a wave.
King Triton's frown disappeared. He hugged his daughter.
It's just that I love you so much, Ariel. I wouldn't want to see you hurt, Maya. Don't forget, humans are barbarians. Now go along, get some sleep.
Ariel went to her bedroom, but she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about all the beautiful things and places she had seen in the human world above. As she leaned out the window, gazing up through the sea, she smiled.
I know Daddy cares about me, but he's wrong about humans. Someday he'll understand. Someday.
Oh, look at this.
Ariel, listen to me. The human world, it's a mess. Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there. The seaweed's always greener. It's a body of sea. Dream about going up there. Just look at the world around you. Right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea. Nobody beat us, fry us, and eat us in fricassee. We want the land folks loves to cook. Under the sea, we have to hook. We got no troubles. Life is the bubbles under the sea. Under the sea. Since life is sweet here, we got the beat here naturally. Even the sturgeon and the ray, did in the earth start to play. We got the spirit, you got to hear it under the sea. Play the flute, the top, play the harp, the place, play the bass, and the sound, the jump, the bass, play the brass, the chub, play the top.